So today I'm doing a little farmyard scene. I've got in a sketch here. I've done a pig, a chicken and a goose. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, so I'm just filling in the brick wall because it's up against a brick wall. I'm just using some yellow ochre, a tiny bit of purple just to tint it here and there. Just filling all the gaps basically with this colour, which I quite like. Some of it I'll add a bit of orange like you can see now. And I did it on a dark background because I wanted everything to stand out because I need to put the darker shades in and do a bit of glazing. So I thought doing it on a nice dark background would help me out a little bit. That's what I did. So I've gone a bit lighter here on the left side because that's where the light's going to hit the painting with that mauvey colour and a bit of buff titanium there. So let's get my wagon wheels just painted in. Just using an off-white and my little round brush. It's a case of just blocking everything in and then you can see where you are and then you can start putting in your lights and your darks and some shadows and glazing. Me putting some glazing here, the shadows of the wheels. So I've just swapped back to my nice little soft filbert again because I like that brush, especially for glazing. You can see there, doing the shadows that's up against the wall, reflecting from the wheels. Then just filling in the rest of this dry stone wall with a dark value. I'm doing a nice soft blend, so I don't want it really harsh lines. I just want the wall to be there but not in your face as such. A bit of shadows on. Use some glazing medium or water, get your paint thin and then you're away with your glazing then. So now I've gone to a nice pinky tone. I'm going to fill my pig in, a little piggy wig. You can see me to and from a dark value to a lighter value. So just check your reference and you can tell where all your lights and darks are. Like obviously on these, and I'm just giving it a nice soft blend just to bring it all together. So make sure your brush has got a little bit of glazing medium on. Then you can give a nice soft, get some nice soft edges or water, whichever you prefer. But I just like the glazing medium. And now I'm filling my little goose in. I'm just doing him a blue colour to start. So they're going to be like his under feathers. Got a blue tinge to him. When I put the white on, he'll stand out a bit more. And a reddy colour for my chicken. I thought this was a cute little farmyard scene. I haven't done anything like this before and I wanted to do it, so I'm sharing it with you lot. Remember, keep your values in. Doesn't really matter what colour you're using. It doesn't have to be absolutely spot on. Make sure you got your lights and your darks and your mid-tones in where you want them. Then you can come back and sort that out after with your colour. Like you can see I'm doing here. I'm not really concentrating much on the colour. Just getting the values in, which will help build up your painting. Your shadows. I mean, some of them you can leave a harsh line. Just depends what you're painting. But some of them, most of them need blending out. Just like there on his forearm, that line there is a bit harsher. That's okay. So I've come back to my wall. That's dry. So I'm just highlighting now because I wanted a bit of purple on it, a bit of lavender colour and some orange yellow. So that's what I'm doing there, just to give a pop of colour. Still using that nice little filbert brush. But any brush you want you can use. I just like working with certain brushes. You get used to them, don't you? You get your favourite brush and you're like, yes, I'm not going to change this brush. I'm going to paint with this brush forever. And we all have his little ways, don't we? So I'm checking them dark values again. Make sure I've got all them in how I wanted them. You might as well work around your painting while you're waiting for something to dry. That's what I do. Then you can come back to it when it's dried off. A bit more glazing and then get it nice and dark. So I'll let them dry off now, especially the wall and the pig. So let's fill this goose in. I'm just using an off-white there and you can see me tinting it with a bit of yellow. It's a nice light bright yellow and white because he's actually at the back of the pig and the chicken's in front of the pig. So I've got to make sure they stand out. I'm putting my values in again on the chicken, just to and from them reddy orange, browny colours. Let's get the pig done a bit more. So I'm going a bit lighter now. Nice pinky colour. They are that colour, aren't they? Well, it's all different types of pigs. This is like a pink, normal pig, what we call normal. We have a lot of these pigs in England. So keep your eye on your values again. Don't go too light everywhere, else you'll lose all your contrast. Like I said, if you go over it, come back with your dark values. Just let it dry and then come back in. So I've still got glazing medium on my brush. I'm keeping it nice and soft, blending it out and doing little bits gradually, waiting for the next bit to dry and then moving on. You can see there how thin that layer was. Really thin layer. Because the more layers you build up in thin layers, the better your artwork looks. Especially, well, I think so in my opinion. Especially if you like doing a portrait and a really close-up image of something. I'm just coming in with a bit of green because I like on the grassy bit here. Any green you've got, just as long as you can get it dark and a bit lighter in other areas, like I've done there. Back to my wall, so I want to put a few more highlights on just to finish it off. I'm to and from a bluey white to a yellowy white to a purpley white. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you've got on your palette, just mix a tint of little colour into it. So it's not just pure white. whichever colour you prefer. I thought it looked nice with the white and the orange and the purple. So my wheels are dry now after all that glazing, so I'm just coming back in some more highlights. Now can you see a different texture here? So I've no glazing medium on that brush now. I'm just using more of a dry brush to get that texture feel. So you've got to work in different things. You know, if you want it nice and soft, obviously use glazing medium and water. If you want a quite rough texture, use a dry brush. So load your brush up with some paint and dab it off, and then you've just got a little bit of paint on your brush. All that's dried, and I've just glazed it all again with some burnt umber just to tone it all down a bit. Doing my wheels again. So I'm just touching them wheels with that flat brush, as you could see there. Just to give a nice texture feel. I'm building up my pig now and concentrating where all my highlights are. Sometimes you go over your midtones and your darks. That doesn't matter. You can come back, like I said before. Just concentrate on what you're doing at that moment. You think, oh, I've lost my contrast there, but it's fine. You can come back in. It's no worries. It's acrylics. You can do anything. I've gone to a nice small detail brush here just to get some hairy hairs on his back there, as you can see, and fill his little eyes in. I thought I'll use this brush while I've got it out, or just some feather texture on my goose. I'm just going in my lighter colour now of titanium white. I've still got my brush there, my little brush. I'll get some feathers on my chicken. You can use a larger brush just to get all your blocking in done, and then when you want to do your details, especially on a smaller creature, you can go in with a little detail brush. I'm using my fan brush. Just get that lovely grass texture. I love using fan brushes. And if you want to watch how to use a fan brush, I have that too on my channel. So I'm just going in with my detail brush after my fan brush. I'm just flicking some little grasses up there. Make sure I've got all the little details in that I wanted to use. Apply to the painting. So I've come back with my other fan brush now, putting some shadows in. It's like a thin glaze. Again, working thin layers. I'm even using it on my chicken. I'm just making that a bit more red, his little red comb there. You want him to stand out. And my little pig's just sniffing around in the background there. And the goose, I don't know what the goose is doing. I think he's going to do one somewhere. I think he's had enough. So I'm getting my highlights finished now on my pig. Using that white and some pinky colours. You could put some purple on if you wanted to. Whatever you wanted to do. Like I said, I've come back now, checked my dark values. So I did lose a little bit. We're doing all them nice glazes. But you can come back and it's not a problem. Easy fix. Make sure you've got them nice shadows and the highlights in. Another thin layer of glaze there. I'll brighten up my chicken a bit. Back with my fan brush. Some highlights on the grass. So I'm just adding a few little flowers in, as you can see there. Nothing too much. It's just, I think it added a little bit more to the painting. Quite a bit of area there, wasn't there? I'm just using the end of my brush and dabbing on some little dots. I thought the blue was nice as well. Bit of flickerage from my fan brush there, just to give it a bit more flavour. If you enjoyed this video, you need to watch the video on screen now.